Welcome to A Gallon of Questions. My name is Pat Gallen, and joining us here in studio today is a former Eagles linebacker, defensive end. He played here for 4 seasons, but he's made Philadelphia his home. And I'm sure you know his work outside of the game of football because he's mostly responsible, partly responsible for some of the Christmas music that I'm sure you're devouring right now. Connor Barwin is here with us. Connor, thanks for doing this, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
How much responsibility do you bear for the Philly
I take
special?
part responsibility.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I take
Some
part.
of it.
Obviously I don't sing on it at all, and they should get the most responsibility.
Sure.
And then Charlie Hall, who produces the music. But I definitely do a lot to make sure it happens.
I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but you're here because you've got a cool charity event coming up called Team Dinner. You, Chris Long, get together at Steak 48, try to make money for your charities. That simple?
Yeah, it's a pretty fun event. So me and Chris, have a lot in common. We both played in Philly. We both played for the Rams. We both played defensive end. Played in sort of the same era, and we both do stuff outside of football that sort of supports our communities. And I really focus everything here in Philadelphia. Chris does stuff here in Philly and other places. Mm-hmm. And as D linemen, it was always a tradition that we always went out to dinner every Thursday night, especially in our era when we played. And it was, it's something you cherish and so many great memories. And Chris, for most of his career, they did it as well. Mm-hmm. And so we thought, what a fun idea. Last year was the first year we did it, to sort of try to recreate that and then, bring in the community, bring in people that want to support what we're doing, and sort of make it like, an old school team dinner that we did forever when we were playing. And so me and Chris put it together. We'll have former players there for the Eagles that we're friends with. Mm-hmm. We'll have some current players stop by. And then, obviously people buy tickets and sponsors buy tables, and it's a way to raise money for, the foundation that I started, MTWB, and the Chris Long Foundation.
So last year was year one. I was on the red carpet interviewing people, which was really cool. I will say, saw Brandon Graham come through. A couple of people came through, but the biggest star of the night was Big Dom. Yeah, Big Dom was there, and he was just coming off that star turn. Everybody knew who he was. Literally everyone in that restaurant wanted a photo with that guy. Will Big Dom be back?
Big Dom has said he's coming.
All right.
So that was the highlight of the event last year, because that was when the whole thing happened, last season.
Yeah, 49ers game.
Yeah, sort of the viral thing. And Dom's the man. So he came by, and everybody was super excited. It was a lot of fun.
Photos everywhere. He took a photo with literally every person that came through. So you obviously brought it back because you thought it went well in year one. How do you top it?
Yeah, I think raise more money is how you top it, which we're on target to do. There are some individual tickets people can still buy to attend. It's more than just raising the money. I mean, it's just about, for us, honestly, for me, it's like getting together with former teammates, doing something with Chris. I think it's also our young players showing up and sort of seeing, what this could look like and should look like, and try to be an example of, how important it is and beneficial it is to sort of connect with the community you play in. And just want to have a fun night. And hopefully, we got the game Sunday, follow right after, and, have a fun night.
You mentioned going out to dinner with the rest of the D line. Do you remember what was the most expensive? And is that a thing where you make the rookies pay?
Well,
or are they're two separate?
No, they're connected.
Okay,
they're connected. Forever. I mean, I'll just tell you how we did it, and I'm sort of proud of how we did it. Essentially, rookies hazing, rookie dinners, they really get a bad rap.
Okay.
And really a lot of that stuff is totally out, because there were some extreme characters. I was never part of anything extreme.
Sure.
What we did in my 10-year career was, and I learned it from the guys before me, was every week throughout the year, you go to the best restaurants in town. Mm-hmm. And look, for most of us, I grew up, I never went, the best restaurant until I got to the NFL that I had ever been to was Outback Steakhouse. I mean, it was like the best.
Yep.
And so you think about rookies coming in the NFL, and there's a lot of guys like that.
Sure.
And you have vets that have been around the league. They know what, good restaurants look like. So essentially you go out every week and you go to the best restaurants in town, whatever town you live in. and the vets, somebody picks up the tab every week, and it's anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000.
Okay.
I think is generally you get a couple bottles of wine, people have a couple drinks, maybe it's closer to $5,000, but usually it's 10, 12 people, it's a couple $1,000s. A vet will pay for it all season long. You sort of rotate who pays for it.
Sure.
If you sort of think about it, you go to 16 of the best restaurants every week throughout the season, and you pay, it costs you like $2,000.
Sure.
It's not a bad deal for anybody.
Not really, no.
And for rookies, they just have to pick it up one time too. And it sort of has become a big deal. And usually it sort of will be, in my experience, it was always on the closer end. It was closer to $4,000 or $5,000 for rookies, but it really nets out as a win for everybody because you get to go to the best restaurants.
Yeah.
Everybody usually pays a couple $1,000. And, most importantly, you have fun, you connect, you tell stories, you get together outside of football, you build that sort of trust. So, that's sort of the background. And it was, great memories, great conversations happened at those team dinners.
A Philly Special Christmas Party. It's the third album. You've raised millions for charity over these last few years. Did you think it would take off like this? Like, what was the vision when it started?
Yeah, no, we didn't.
No.
We didn't. The vision, the vision was we sat in my backyard, Charlie Hall, Jason, Jordan Lane. After Jason was like, "Let's make a Christmas record," in the locker room. That's off season. I was like,
so he just can't. That was like his.
I was literally, at least the way I remember it. I was in the locker room. It was after a workout. Obviously, I'm not playing, but I was around Jason, and I think Jordan was there. And Jason just sort of said it. And this is 22, off-season 22. And I was like, well, dude, let's do it right now. And he was like, you serious? I was like, if we're going to do it, let's just do it right now. And so we sort of were like, maybe. And then I called Charlie Hall, and he got real serious. And he was like, if we're going to do this, we all need to meet and talk about what Christmas songs we like and what our Christmas songs are important to us. And so we had a meeting in my backyard. We sort of decided we were going to do this. I remember Jordan had his guitar, and he was like, strumming and singing. And we sat there and we're like, all right, let's take this serious, number one. We're going to do it. Let's make, good music. Let's take it serious. Mm-hmm. Number two, let's have fun. Let's all, we're going to do this. Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And number three, let's do something positive with it. And I'll never forget, that was here is, the goals, the foundation of what we're doing. And that first year, we went and made 7 songs in the studio. Mm-hmm. I remember my wife being like, you need to stop spending money on making this record. Because she was, seeing, the money we're spending on, studio time and musician day rates. And, some of this stuff was starting to add up. Yeah. And she's like, what the hell are you guys doing? That's starting to be a significant amount of money. And I was like, I know. I'm a little worried too.
Mount Joy, Stevie Nicks, Boyz II Men, among others on this year's album. What kind of favors did you have to call in for? Stevie Nicks shows up and starts singing a duet with Jason Kelce. That's the most incredible thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing.
Was everyone in awe when she walked in?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was.
Yeah,
and it was the year before Patti LaBelle was on the record. And just an incredible experience, meeting her and how kind she was and how just the whole thing was so awesome. And then
did she bring pies?
No, but she was just the best. I mean, she was honestly the best. I can't just tell you how nice she was to everybody. And Stevie Nicks, how it all happened is kind of wild, but she wanted to be in Philadelphia with Jason in the studio. And I think people have seen that, but that whole 4 hours, 5 hours is amazing because she was just so kind and was funny and told all these stories. Yeah. And you're just sitting there watching her be like, oh, Jason, let's just pop in there and start singing. Let me teach you something here. I want to introduce you to my singing coach, my vocal coach. Just going on, and you're just what is going on right now?
I'm a big Mount Joy fan. Actually, I had Matt Quinn in here this summer on the show, and I'm like, I text him like, dude, you didn't tell me any of this. Come on, man,
Yeah.
you're putting this together with the guys. How did that whole thing come together? Because that's sort of blown up too.
Yeah, I mean that song's performing the best.
Yeah.
That's the song that's doing the best on if you look at like streaming numbers.
Sure.
Yeah, I've known Matt for a while. I got to know him and his team because we have an MTWB concert and we've been like trying to book Montroy for I don't know 6 years,
Yeah.
and it just hasn't worked out. But I've got to know him, and as you know, he's just like a diehard Philly
Yes.
sports fan, as well as the best dude ever.
Yeah, it's great.
And how that happened was we just invited him to the studio because Jason's friends with him too.
Mm-hmm.
We're all buddies, and he sort of got off tour, and we were like, "Yeah, just come up to the studio and hang out." Like we're recording music, and he just came up to the studio, and then he came up the next day,
Sure.
and then I think it was the third day or the end of the second day, he was like, I got a really bad idea. Like, it's a bad idea. We shouldn't do it. But I was thinking what do you guys think? And he sort of said, what if we sort of do a quick rewrite of Jesus Drives an Astrovan to Santa Drives an Astrovan? And I can tell you, everyone in the room was like, that's a great idea. Like, we all
It's not a
knew.
dumb idea at
We
all.
all knew right away. I mean, he was like, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. And we were like, no, that is a great idea. And then I think he went home. He rewrote the lyrics like overnight, and then we came back to the studio, and we were like, "Yeah, this is it."
It's
and
incredible.
Kelsey's like crushes it on that song. It's fun. It's a good one.
And then you actually find an Astro van and do the video. That's a nice little.
Yeah, that was
touch.
cool. That was cool doing the music video,
great.
and Matt was really fun to work with, and just again watch how that thing was made. It was cool.
Mount Joy actually I just had my Spotify list come up. Number one band this year for me
There you
on my
go. There you
Spotify rewind.
They're probably pretty up there, pretty high for me too.
So what's next for you guys? Because I know this is going to be the last album, right?
Yep.
But for your foundation, like, what's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I mean, for MTWB, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, which is, we work with communities to rebuild their public space.
Yep.
We just cut the ribbon on Vera Rec Center in Grays Ferry, which is a huge project that we're really proud to be a part of. So we're going to continue to do that.
Sure.
That's sort of the main focus here in Philadelphia. For the Christmas record, we are trying to just pull this off, over December before students go on holiday break, and we have a really cool animated music video coming out this Friday of the song with Jason Travis and Boyz II Men, which I'm excited about, which
Very cool.
Was really fun, like a fully real animated, sort of like an evolution of the artwork to the stop motion
Yep.
video we did to now really animated. That's coming out Friday. I think next Friday we're putting out the last song, which is a song with all three guys and John Bon Jovi, which is so cool. And then I think this is the last record. I mean, who knows what we'll do? I mean, maybe we'll do a song or two next year.
Sure.
But I think sort of the full-blown record, this was it. And that's why I brought you.
You brought it?
I brought you the box set.
Oh.
So you do 3 records, you have to have a box set.
That's
So
amazing.
this has everything in there.
Oh, this is loaded. That's awesome. Well, now I got to get something to play this on. That's the most important thing.
You could get something to play with on, or it can just be
It
decoration.
can just be decorated.
you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to open that. But that being said, wait, I got one more question for you. Kylie Kelsey shows up into the studio and she sounds like that. Is that
Oh,
for
yeah.
real?
Yeah, it's definitely for real.
Oh, my
and Jason kept
He knows.
talk. Yeah, he knew.
like-
He knew. He
Oh,
talked. He
my
talked
God.
about it for a while, and I believed him, but like I didn't necessarily
Right.
believe him completely.
It's like, oh yeah, she can sing.
Well, I thought it was just
right.
like so in love with your wife and you support her. There's a little bias, but she came in there and did it. Now she was. Yeah, she didn't want a lot of. She wasn't excited to do it. I'll say. I don't know if she wants me saying that. She was extremely humble, and Jason really had to get her to do it because he knew she could. But
Wow.
that was one of the. I mean, that's right up there with, some of the other stuff like watching Stevie. I mean, seeing Kylie do it because you had no idea
Right.
that like how beautiful her voice is.
I heard
and
that
that's
for
an
the first
original, and that's an original song too. So it's just like really sweet.
Guy from Philly
song.
wrote it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that I heard it for the first time. Like, been sleeping on this for 3 albums now.
I know. Well,
that's unreal.
It wasn't easy to
I
get
bet.
to do this. Even this last one.
I
If it
bet.
wasn't like this beautiful song about family, I don't know if Jason would have got Kylie to do it.
Before we go, Gallon of Questions is the name of the show, so we got to dig in here and just pull a couple out, random stuff. We'll see if we can answer them. So
Okay.
jump in there.
All right.
You do it for everyone.
Favorite documentary? I mean,
You had to have done some homework before you did Underdogs, right? And before you did Kelsey.
oh, that's a good way for me. I was gonna say, of course, my favorite one is the one that I was part of
Right.
doing, which was Kelsey. But the backstory to that is one of my favorite documentaries is The Art of the Steal. When I first moved to Philadelphia in 2013, somebody put me onto it and was like, "Hey, you just moved to Philly. You should watch this doc about this museum there called the Barnes,
Yep.
called The Art of the Steal." And I think it had been out for a couple of years.
Okay.
But if people haven't seen it, have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Okay.
It's
I've
awesome,
heard of it, but I've not seen
But
it.
it's about all the backstory and the controversy from moving the Barnes from out in the suburbs to in the city, and loved it. And that's why one of the reasons why I reached out to Don Argot, who
Okay.
directed
Yeah,
Kelsey,
okay.
because he directed The Art of the Steal.
Oh, I didn't realize that. You've obviously been to the Barnes, though, right?
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh,
unbelievable.
it's unbelievable in there. I mean, you could be in
And
there
when you
for
watch
days.
when you watch the doc, sorry, I'll just say how you watch the doc, you're like, oh man, this is so crazy. This all happened. It's like so well told. And then I went and set foot in the Barnes in Center City, and I was like, oh, I mean, of course they should have put the Barnes here. This needs to be like close to.
Never seen a
down
building
to-
like that. It's the coolest. Do your kids have a Christmas list yet? If so, what's on it?
My kids definitely have a Christmas
Mm-hmm.
list. My kids is no surprise to anybody. When you have a 3-year and 6-year-old, they love Christmas.
Heck yeah.
Especially when you've been making Christmas records for 3 years their life. My kids, it's really fun. My son's 6, obsessed with Legos right now.
Okay,
so
cool.
it's Legos. People with young kids understand that, which is cool. And
Mm-hmm.
then my daughter's funny. She's 3, and she has a Christmas list, but she's so funny. She's making up words. And so her things she's asking for are actually not things. They're
Right.
just completely made up words, which is really funny right now. So
That's fantastic. We're into Legos too with my 4-year-old, but the 1-year-old thinks that it's candy,
Yeah,
and so not a great.
give it
mix
another
at
give it
this
another
point.
year. Give 5 or 6. When your son is 5 or 6, he's going to get really good at them too.
I don't know how much you can talk about football because you work for the Philadelphia Eagles as well. Is Jalen Carter the next Aaron Donald?
I am not supposed to talk about the Eagles because of my role with the Eagles.
Blink
right
twice if you think that he's going to be the
now.
next.
I could just say, remove myself from my job. I got to play with Aaron,
Yeah.
and he was, and I got to play with J.J. Watt, Fletcher Cox, Antonio Smith, just unbelievable defensive tackles, and all great, unbelievable. And Jalen's right there on a path to being right there with him.
That game in Baltimore, man, just wrecked house. That was so cool. When you played, I'm sure you didn't prefer to play in rain or snow, but which one was?
Well, I played in the
Preferable.
snowball, so everyone, that was awesome. Snow, it's always snow.
Always snow?
Yeah.
Rain sucks. Let's see how many we can get to here in 1 minute. Well, it's an Eagles question, too. What makes Jeff Stoutland so good? Even if you don't want to talk about the football side of it, what makes him so awesome?
I mean, he's just a great guy. Like, he cares. He's just a great guy. He's got a great family. He's a great person. He's always trying to learn and trying to help. And, those are 2 pretty good traits.
It's a Vic Fangio
Yeah,
question,
you're
so I'll
good.
leave that over there. Last concert you attended?
I don't even know if I can remember right now.
Was that last summer? Your concert
Which one?
at the Dell? Was that last summer? Or was that 2 summers ago now?
No, we had a concert last summer at the Dell. What was my last concert?
What was the last one you went to?
Man, I can't believe I can't remember that right now. I don't know. I got to get back.
Were you at Mount Joy over the summer?
I was at Mount Joy.
Okay. I think that may have been the last one I was
That
at.
it was Mount Joy with it was like the Whiny Dad tour, right? It was Mount Joy and
I'm blanking.
the guys from Ohio. It was the Mount Joy show.
Okay.
But they opened for Mount Joy. I mean,
okay.
Mount Joy opened for them.
Gotcha.
Jeez.
Last one. Favorite Christmas movie, since we're in the holiday spirit here. You got to have one, right? Everyone has one.
I don't know if I have a favorite Christmas. I mean, I loved Home Alones. I mean, those are obviously my generation growing up.
Same,
those are
yeah.
great. I think I like Elf. But that is the thing we're working on, is a Christmas movie.
Is this breaking? Is this like semi-breaking? Yeah, you probably broke this
It's
elsewhere. It's out there.
making movies takes a long time.
does,
so,
yeah.
let me just tell you, this is not breaking news.
Is Kelsey playing Santa or
we're
something?
not anywhere, I don't know, we're not anywhere close to doing it. But that is, we're working on a Christmas movie, which is a lot of fun.
The creativity never stops, right? It's just always in motion, but that's a good thing, man. I'm sure you're having fun doing it.
That's it. We're just having fun.
Love it. Connor, thanks so much, my friend. Team dinner, Steak 48 on Monday. Get your tickets. Come hang out with these guys.
Thanks man.
Dude.